Hi, this is Jillian from Grotto Hair Studio again. Today we're going to do just a really soft low bun, something that she can go out with for the evening. She can also go to work with it. It will really class up a look. So what we're going to do, because she does have a heavy fringe through here, we're just going to twist this bang going back, and we're going to clip it in, and then we're going to put in this low donut. So I'm going to teach you how to put in a donut. What we're going to do first is just brush out whatever tangles that we have in the hair. Ideally, not having freshly shampooed hair, it's easier to work with it. It's got a little bit more grip, a little bit more product to work with. And then what I'm going to do first off is just to give a little bit of backcombing to here. I want some volume added. Whenever we do backcombing, we're always going to count the number of times we backcomb. And I want a decent amount of volume in her hair. Not huge by any means, but these combs are really easy to use in the salon. They're also really easy to use at home with that boar's bristle. It's gentle on the hair. So you can do as much or as little backcombing as you want. Really all just depends on how much volume you want to be having. And then what you're going to do afterwards is you're going to smooth it all out. But I still want to keep some texture. I don't want it perfectly smooth for the look that we're going for today. She's got nice hair for doing more texture with it. So before we go and take any of that out, I want to spray it into place. I like to use my Kerastase spray. It's a nice working spray. It's not going to hold it too firm. I get to play around with her hair a little bit more so. But when you're at home as well, this is what you want to be doing before you remove any of that backcombing. I'm going to take 2 pieces here instead of your typical 3-strand braid, and I'm actually just going to wrap them back and forth. I'm going to pick up a piece and then I'm going to wrap it around here. But before I actually secure that into place, I do want to put a little bit of hairspray in there and a tiny bit of backcombing, which is going to hold it a little bit better. So we're going to do really what you would call like a two-strand rope braid rather than the 3-strand. Right at the back of the ear here. That's where we're going to finish off that rope braid. Little bit of hairspray in again. So we have our 2 pieces. I'm just bringing one over top of the other. I'm going to pick up a piece here and then I'm bringing it over. I just want this like really, really messy looking. I don't want it looking perfect by any means at all. You'll notice that I'm actually trying to make this like looser and messier as we go. It's not, I don't want it to be perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to continue on with this. What I'm going to do in order for this to work into what we are going to accomplish at the end, I'm just going to put a little bit of a pin in there. It's going to hold that into place while I work on my donut. So I'm just going to put a pin right here to hold it while I go to work on the back. I want to keep this texture in here. I want to keep the volume, but what I do want to do to open up her face a little bit more so, I actually want to keep this smoother and tighter in towards the face. So I'm going to take that backcombing brush, because it's got that boar's bristle, I'm going to smooth it with that. That gets all those little tiny baby hairs. And I just want to rough this hair up. And you can always rough it up again after you put in your elastic. It doesn't have to be perfect before you get that elastic in there. So again, I'm coming quite low with this. Instead of using a regular elastic, I'm taking one elastic, I put 2 bobby pins on it, And I'm just going to put the bobby pin in, stick it down like that. You're going to use your thumb to hold it into place. Of course, that didn't work. Use your thumb to hold it into place, and then you're just going to wrap it around. And then this nicely secures your elastic into place. So now that I have that in there, I'm going to rough this up how I want this to look before I go ahead and put my donut in. So now before I even put that donut in, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to bring it into the back and I'm going to incorporate it into that ponytail. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it back. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. I'm going to slide my pin forward, which is going to keep it nice and tight. So again, sliding that pin forward. It's keeping it nice and tight. I want to keep it a little tighter in through here with a little bit more texture through there. Okay, so once you get your hair through the donut like this, if you have heavy hair, you're going to just take a few pins, you're going to grab on to some of the material, and you're going to stick it into the base of your hair. I want to really give her a lot of texture as well, so I'm just pulling pieces. Now what I'm going to do, again, because I want a whole lot of texture in her hair, I am roughing this hair up before I go and pin it around. I do want a lot of texture. So because I want that texture in the hair again, I'm going to use the spray porche because I don't want this to be smooth. This gives a ton of texture to the hair without weighing it down. And I'm going to actually wrap this around quite messy. So what you'll do is you'll take your bobby pin and you're just gonna push that bobby pin in. I don't want this to look like a real donut. I don't want to see the perfectly smooth wrap around with it, but what I do want, the reason I'm using this is I want the volume to be happening. And you're just tucking that hair up and underneath. You want to make sure that you're not seeing any of the donut left over. You can accomplish this without using it, but the volume that you're going to get from it throughout the day, it's going to start to collapse. So that's your main reason that you want to be using this. And again, you're just, to create that texture in the hair, you are just pulling it apart. I'm going to actually pull this piece back and spray it to really open up her face. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to change your look at the end of the workday before you head out. So really very simple, very easy. You can see the volume that you get throughout the back here. You can see all the texture that she has, just really soft, bringing it off to the side.